Hello guys, I'm Data and welcome to my channel. Today we are back in the Mechlab with another mech review. We are talking about the Zeus Inner Sphere 80 tonner. The center torso is slightly bigger in the upper part, decent arms that can shield for the mech, and pretty big side torsos. When you move the mech sideways like this, the arms shield perfectly for the torso. So if you tend to face a stair, yes, it's bad. But given that if you move like this and your torso twist a lot, you're going to shield with your arms, it will tank considerably more. And it's not just a random coincidence, the fact that the mech has a lot of agility. So you can actually move a lot, peek a lot, shield a lot. So that's for the hitboxes. Let's go to talk about the specific agility values. These values, like 36, 28, are extremely high for an assault mech. In fact, it has more than the Warhawk, that is already a pretty agile mech, surely more than the Marauder 2C, which despite being an 85 tonner, is very low when it comes to agility, and more than other 80 tonners. Like for example, we can compare it to the Warhammer 2C, which is 1722, or we could say that it's similar to the Gargoyle, that has pretty much the same agility values. So as for the agility, the Zeus is outstanding in terms of acceleration, deceleration, torso twists, and torso turn rate. It's good with this. As to a generic consideration that stands for all of them, this is a noob trap. Because the noob trap here is that you see the big torsos and you go like, okay, no, I'm not going to put an XL in here. This is the noob trap. And you fell into it. Easy. These mechs, all of them, they are forced, obliged XL engine choices. You have to take XL engine on every one of these because of one simple reason. If you don't put an XL, you are too slow. And when you are too slow, you go to compete against other mechs that are meant to be slow and have better firepower. So it's a nonsense. It's like taking a light mech, bringing it down to 80, 90 kph, and then complaining that it can't compete against Timberwolves that run at the same speed. It doesn't make sense. This mech has to be fast compared to other assaults. So that's the only way it can be unique. If you start making it go like 55, 58 kph, it's just not fast enough. And it's not powerful enough to compete with those mechs that have that kind of speed. With this being said, let's start from the individual build analysis. The 6S is one that I consider very strong. It has a ballistic cooldown that can be used in combo with the new Gauss cooldown buff and a generic heat and velocity. It's good to have velocity when you want to sync Gauss together with lasers. It's good to have cooldown when you want to sync Gauss with lasers. Gauss and lasers are pretty strong. So what you do here is you put 4 regular large lasers, a Gauss rifle. This is a left side peak, and you use this as a mid-range engager. What's the difference with other mid-range engagers? The difference is that this mech has a lot of agility and a lot of sustained DPS without overheating. This mech doesn't overheat. We go give a quick demo in the testing ground. It may, at the first look, you may be like, okay, it doesn't have that many heat sinks, so it will be hot because it doesn't have many heat sinks. A mech is, let's just look at it.
Target.
the mech basically doesn't overheat. The point is, it's not that you need just to be a double heatsink boat to be cold. The fact of being cold also comes from good basic damage per heat values, like inner sphere large lasers, on top of quirks, on top of the buff that was given to inner sphere regular large lasers that says that basically you can shoot 4 without ghost. This is also something that people usually ignore. You don't need to boat 25 double heatsinks to be cold. Especially on inner sphere max, you can be cold even with few heatsinks because the base stats of those weapons are better. So this is one that I'd say that definitely it's very, very strong. Another one that's surely strong is the 9S. You can do 6 ER large or 5 large pulse. If you're using it in quick play, I'd say 5 large pulse. Why? Because the way I see the game, range past 600 meters is just for fun. When you want to enjoy a playstyle that requires more skill, that is more skill demanding, then you take ER large and you go at range. But the way quick play goes and the way the new map designer is basically shitting on range playstyle with, see what's happening on Vitrix Station or Hellebore and so on, you just don't need more than 500, 600 meters. That's pretty much it. Once you have 500, 600 optimal, you don't need more. It's super easy to get at around 500 meters. So large pulses are more than enough. Again, here, why I say that Excel, it's an applied choice. Of course, you can put an LFE 300, you lose an heatsink because, of course, I can downgrade the armor, put another heatsink. I would have 18 double heatsinks. That's not the point. I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm losing speed for nothing because once I lose this torso, I lose the capability to dissipate heat. So I have all the weapons, but I can't shoot them. I lose the other torso, I lose all of my weapons, and I have the heatsinks that I don't even need because I lost my weapons. So when whatever happens, you're just dead. Just excel it and die, but at least have a better mech while you can still play. So, this one is pretty good as well. Quirks, of course, 10 heat, 10 range, 10 hook cooldown, Giga survival quirks. They are now the same. In the past, some had to use less. Now they all have pretty high survival quirks. Let's see. So, how does this compare to similar mechs? These two are pretty similar to some main meta builds. This one, compared to other 6ER large mechs like the Stalker, the Battle Master, this one is faster. That's why it makes sense. If you remove speed from it, it makes less sense. And then it has, at the same time, cooldown, range, and heat. Other mechs, like the Stalker, the Battle Master, they don't have all of these quirks combined, and they don't have all of that structure. They also don't have maybe the Battle Master could have the same speed, but again, the Battle Master doesn't have 10 heat, 10 range, and 10 cooldown on top of it. So the 6ER large one, the 5 large pulse one, the 4 large lasers, and a Gauss one, they are solid options. Another one that is very good is the Hero one. It's good. This is not the build that I have in the video. The way I work is that I have multiple videos stocked like this. These are all videos that I'm going to upload in the near future. Yes, I have also stuff on the Pretty Baby. I have a slightly bit different build there with a lower engine, more armor on the legs, but in the end I realized that they're not going to go for your legs on this kind of mech. Why is this mech good? Because it has mask. Mask is something that people underestimate a lot because they can't use it. They can't use it, so they think it's weak. But the point is that at high levels, Mask is extremely strong because it gives you not only extra speed, but extra agility, accel, decelerate. So when you feel you have the perception that you're about to get shot, you activate the mask and the mech flicks in terms of decel, accel, and the enemy will miss the shot or hit a component that he was not meant to hit. Mask is huge. Just look at the Black Lanner. The Black Lanner was fucking shit before the Cauldron. We didn't buff the laser version, and we put just minor buffs on the other ones, but the Black Lanner went from shit to top comp metamech just by buffing Mask. Of course, we're not talking about comp, but we have MRMs. And what's good about MRMs? MRMs are one of the king weapons when it comes to farming quick play. They do a shitload of damage at an excellent range with an excellent damage per hit profile. So this is a NASCAR mech. You go 90 kph. On an assault, 90 kph.
Acquired. Airstrike online.
So with this, you are meant to run around as fast as you can, get a flanking shot, and be like,
Target acquired.
and keep going. Reposition. And keep going. Like every volley, it's 100 damage with no heat consequences. 100 damage, no heat consequences at 90 kph. This is extremely good. Just that people don't realize that, or it's too difficult to use, but still, it's extremely good. Next, what do we have here? Another one that is pretty good is the 6T. I have an MM13 for Znubs here because of the PPC quirks, range, heat. Why am I combining Znubs with MRMs and not with 3 SRM6s, which is of course another option? Because as Znub knows, especially when they get a range quirk, they are not really brawling weapons. Why? Because if you check optimal and max, it's not per 2. It's something around per 2.3. So at range, they deal more outside of optimal range, they deal more damage than they actually should. That's why it's good to use them even at 400, 450 meters, which is also the perfect spot for MRMs. For Znubs and an MRM30 for this mech, again, it's extremely good.
Target. Critical.
Heat efficiency is also pretty good. Another decent one is the one where you can put 2 heavy PPCs and 2 AC5s. There it is. Giga quirks, energy range, cooldown, heat, velocity. Laser duration is useless, but yeah, I'm not going to put 2 large pulses here. I'm going to put 2 heavy PPCs. Same stuff, you excel it, because you lose one side, you lose all the weapons, you lose the other side, you lose the ability to dissipate the heat. So it's pointless to be alive if you can't shoot.
Target. Target. Heat level critical.
But there is another one that I honestly find pretty weak. I don't think there is a good build like worthy of an assault mech, even if like a heavy. Is the 5S. One ballistic, 3 energy, 3 missiles. Like, what am I gonna do? Couple of MRMs and 3 light PPCs. What is this? Shadowhawk without jump jets. What am I gonna do? 1 Ultra 10 because it has UAC jam chance quirks, and 2 heavy PPCs with way less quirks than the other one. It doesn't. This one, the 5S, makes absolutely no sense to me. This is incredibly weak. The only way that I could see it working, I know that it's weird to say it in this period because, let's be honest, everyone knows that snub noses are broken OP. But on this mech, I could see something like snub nose HSL +1 with an Ultra 10 and maybe some range to make it useful this way. The other problem is that due to the ARM actuator, you can't put the Ultra 20 in here. So on this one, I could see a quirk pass for a snub nose HSL to try to use this build. The problem is also that this energy is not in the torso, because if it was in the torso, I could go with 3 PPCs and an Ultra 10. Oh, but what's the difference with 2 heavy PPCs and an Ultra 10? It's huge in terms of difference. 3 PPCs are insanely better than 2 heavy PPCs because they deal the same damage at the same range. They have better minimum range though. I understand that the heat is slightly more, but they have 25% more DPS. So especially if you're pairing them with the autocannons, they have 25% more DPS because of the cooldown, 4 seconds versus 5. But you can't do that because this energy is not in the torso. So on this one, I could see Snubnose HSL +1. Even if you want to do something like 3 snubs, 3 SRMs, you should be able to alpha strike those snubs. It's a fucking assault. We are finished analyzing stuff one by one, so we can go back to the overall view and drag the conclusions. The way the quick play goes right now, the way the quick play meta is, being fast is a gigantic buff over being slow. So if I had to draw a picture of how the game is going right now, 48 kph assaults are getting farmed. They are not fast enough to... They either stay in the back and they miss the game because people hide in canyons and you can't shoot them, or you get NASCAR'd left in the back and you get killed, or you try to go forward, but you're not fast enough, so you don't get there in time and you miss the farm. Mainly super slow mechs, super slow assaults are the ones that are eating shit the most out of every weight class in the game. But that's not the case for this one, because this is fast. I'd say that while big assaults are more situational, they can give you like 1500 damage farm if on the other side you have people that, you know, can't shoot straight and can't even move. But also, if you find decent enemies, you'll do very low because the mech is pretty shit. The slow 48 kph mech. The Zeus is more consistent because the fact itself that you have speed gives you the ability to be independent. That's the problem of the 48 kph mechs. They depend on the pugs to give you a good result. This is the biggest gift that speed gives you. The fact of being independent from the pugs. You can get your farm. Of course, it won't be 1500 damage, but you won't even get double D'd or zerged by all the enemy light mechs because you go at least 65 kph or 90 kph with the hero one in some cases. So the speed is a huge boost that puts the Zeus above many mechs that are capped at 48 kph. How does it compare though with similar mechs? compared to a Marauder 2, say Laser Vomit, or Warhammer 2C, 5 large balls. Yes, maybe that one is a bit better when it comes in terms of flexibility and firepower, but this one has considerably more agility, considerably more survival quirks. Like, that's huge. The noob trap, and that's the reason why people don't bring this, is that they see the big torsos and they're like, okay, I'm not going to bring an XL. I'm going to make it slow and then complain that it is not as powerful as a Mauler or a Direwolf. Of course, it's an 80 tonner. It's not meant to go slow. You have to put an XL because we gave it the right survival to put an XL on it. It's that extra survival that makes you run an XL. On top of that, we just buffed the survival tree and the reinforced casing. What does this have to do? This is a buff to structure. So between armor mechs and structure mechs, the structure mechs got more than the armor mechs because now reinforced casing is also stronger. And reinforced casing is a buff not only to the fact that you will get your weapons crit a lot less, you also get your structure crit a lot less. So now, when you see a structure mech, you would like to put a lot of reinforced casing as well. You could compare it to a gargoyle, but I don't see the gargoyle being better. Even in the laser vomit, yes, the gargoyle is a bit faster, but that one has a lot more sustained DPS. I'm not saying the gargoyle is bad. The gargoyle is good. It's fast. It's even faster. The Zeus though has more sustained damage without overheating, and overall more survival. 9245 in my Mechlab for the gargoyle. 9245 on the Zeus is 7772. I think there is an edge in terms of on the clown mech. I think it's the same stuff. You lose a torso, you lose the ability to dissipate the heat, so it's not that different from an Inner Sphere XL. It's just that people fear something that they shouldn't fear. They shouldn't have fear when they equip an XL engine on this kind of mech at all. The only stuff that I would say that performs significantly better is the Timber with the Laser Vomit and ECM, but again, not because of the Timber itself, and not even because of Laser Vomit, because if you put Laser Vomit on a Pepega mech like the Marauder 2 heavy large and 6 meds, or 2 large balls, 6 meds and a fast engine, due to the fact that it has half, not even half, even less than half the agility of these mechs, mech is not over the top at all. It's the Timber Laser Vomit with ECM that is over the top because of the ECM. That's the same thing on many other mechs. The way I see it, ECM is OP. So when you see this and you compare this to the Timber, of course you're going to say, no, the Timber is better because Laser Vomit OP. No, not because Laser Vomit OP. Laser Vomit is not OP if you take it on a non-ECM mech, or if you take it on an ECM on a mech without the same agility. The problem is the combo. Good mounts, right side peak for the Timber, excellent agility, and ECM on top of that. The way I see it, ECM should get nerfed. It's the Timber with ECM that's hitting slightly above the top because of the ECM. But overall, the Zeus, I think, is perfectly fine. The only one I would buff is the 5S, because the 5S really doesn't do anything, and I would add Snubnose HSL +1 on this one. So, that's it for today, guys. If you guys enjoyed this kind of content, remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, share the content with your friends, and hit the bell to enable the notifications. I'll catch you guys next time.